We're going so much higher. I want to show you some posts from the past that are going to entice you to get mega bullish on crypto, but remain cautiously optimistic because we know what happens. You get a bit too excited. You get slapped down. Uncle Peter Schiff. Keep dreaming. Bitcoin is never going to hit $100,000. This post was made in August of 2019. I still remember in 2019 at some point, Uncle Peter Schiff was coming out and he said to somebody, Bitcoin's never going to hit $100,000, right? Keep dreaming, and look where we are today. So remember, friends, I'm telling you, don't stop believing, because market caps in crypto, they're not like stocks, okay? They have the same word, but it's actually not the same word. I know some stock market guys, they don't call them the same name anymore. So a stock market cap, you just multiply the stock by the number of shares, right? But there's no market cap in crypto. We call it market cap. They call it network value. Okay, network value. It's still doing the same thing. You're multiplying the number of shares based off the price, right? For the size of the network. But they're not equating them, I guess, to be the same things. And that's why these numbers can go very, very, very high. Okay, because you don't have any voting things in it. In crypto, remember, it's different to stocks. In stocks, you separate the product from the share. You separate the product from the company. It's separate, okay? In crypto, they're the same. The product is the community. Okay, that's what it comes down to. By the way, cities work like that. Countries work like that. Okay, if you have ownership of real estate in the city, if you work in a city, you're contributing to the GDP. You're a product of that. Okay, that's why crypto, and it's digital. That's why it's a brand new asset class. No one's ever seen anything like it before. That's why we're still early, and we're still going to crank it. Now, eventually, though, the world will wake up. Eventually, we'll get to a point where everyone knows about this. We're eating lollipops. We're doing handstands, the pizza's coming out, the tasty tubes. But I want to show you this post from a short while ago as well, friends, from Mr. David Bailey. He says, there's not going to be another bear market for several years. So my post here accompanying it, I'm saying we are loading the Bitcoin bull market trap. Like a little mouse trap. Okay. Big bubble coming, pump it, pump it, pump it. See, he says there's not going to be another Bitcoin bear market for several years. This is what we want to see, man. Remember, bull markets, they are born on pessimism. They're born on depression. They're born on it. Okay? When you kill the final bull, that's when it's actually born. It grows on the skepticism. All right? Now, what's skepticism, right? Skepticism is, it's literally 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Right? It's just like UFO stuff. Hey, someone comes out with a big story. Oh, I'm a whistleblower. I used to work for the government. We recovered some UFO things. So it tells you like 10 things that happened. And then someone's like, oh, but you know, you used to write science fiction books. And they go, oh, that's created some doubt in me. So I gave you like plus 10 reputation. Now let's take away 9. Because like your story still makes sense, but did you have to be like a science fiction writer? You see what I mean? We go back and forth like that, but you're still making forward ground. Same thing in markets, okay? That's why bull markets will do higher lows. And the lows always come. There's always bad news. And then eventually we show strength. The showing strength part, that's you're growing on the skepticism. But eventually hit the euphoria where there's no skepticism. Everyone's having a good time and they're partying, right? Look what he continues to say as well. Every sovereign bank, issuer, corporate, pension, and more will own Bitcoin. The process has already begun in earnest. Yet we haven't even captured 0.01% of the total addressable market. We're going so much higher. Dream big. I want to remind you of something, friends. All these institutions can get in, but because of the liquidity and how things only trade at the margin, all right, it's possible you onboard 100 institutions. If 5 want to sell in a fast period of time, it'll send it all the way back. Yeah, they'll just dump their supply for basically a low price, and then it has to get absorbed, and that's where you have a bear market. So I just want to remind you that throughout history, there are many stories of these happening, friends, where you have big booms that appear, and it's because obviously, just markets play out the way they do. And then at the tops, you have someone really smart, or a couple of people really smart. They come out, they think they're invincible. Their IQ is a bit too high, and they convince a lot of people to give them money. And then instead what they get is some pumpy G music. And then we get what we call the failed rallies. But you don't think they're failing because they're so euphoric, because you've gone up so much. Yeah, you should be complacent. You are complacent. Yeah, but you're in a complacency zone. So that's what happens at the top, right? After you convince all these people, hey, we're really smart. I figured out the model. This is a maths formula. This is a model. Or we can't go down. You know, the sell button is now banned. Right? Or this guy's in. He's never selling. Okay? That's what we're building into. I found this pretty funny as well from earlier friends. Kobe posted, it would be nice if we all got to do the Vegeta meme again together after some time this year. He's talking about obviously Ethereum, and then I made a joke post. I said, context, Kobe thinks Hex is hitting $9,000 this year. I tend to believe him. So obviously having a fun picture here. Some interesting information for you friends, okay? I've told you this before. In 2020, I called correctly where Bitcoin would never hit below $9,000 again. Okay? And it was when Michael Saylor was buying. Now, we didn't know who Michael Saylor was at the time, but it's funny. It's this period here. Do you want to know why? Because I watched all these Reddit memes go back and forth. Every time Bitcoin hits, so here's 9,000, okay? Above 9,000 below, above 9,000 below, above 9,000 below, above 9,000 below, above and below, above. Friends, you see all this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 times. 6 major times over a period of 2 years. People said, yes, we're finally above 9,000. It was the Vegeta meme, the Dragon Ball Z Vegeta meme. Vegeta 9,000 meme. This was literally posted all over Reddit. I was on Reddit back then because I didn't know what crypto Twitter was. I had no idea that people were on Twitter. It's over 9,000. Okay. And then you wouldn't believe this, right? This actually happened. You can actually go to Reddit. I still have my post up. I said, I think this is the last time Ethereum, Bitcoin's ever going to be below 9,000 ever again. And I said my reason was it was right. Where did it go? Zombie virus. It was here. It was up here. Do you want to know what happened here, friends? When it went up, no one posted a 9,000 meme. No one. Everybody, it was like total, like just silence. Yeah. And I was new, so I'm not coming. I was in markets, but I'm just looking at it. I'm like, that's really weird. How come no one posted about the over 9,000 meme? So I just made a post and a call. I'm like, man, I think we're never going below 9,000 again. It must mean all the weak hands are finally gone. It's only strong people here because no one's celebrating anymore because you were just like, we so winced everybody out. And yeah, it turned out to be true. It turned out to be true. So it's interesting how markets, they play this stuff out here to make you finally convinced it's never happening, then it does. All right. Well, you know, there's all these periods of time where markets and history and cycles, especially crypto, it convinced you, yeah, this is the time, man. It ain't ever coming down. You know, and it's always accompanied by something as well. It's always accompanied by this big news, this big event where it just feels like this, but it's words in the air. It's a narrative, and it's the N word. You know, earlier what happened as well, friends, XRP flipped Blackrock. So just to show you as well, stock market cap, it's different to network value. But also, when I heard the stock market guys say it, it felt like a bit of cope. It did. Because I thought, I go, you're just in disbelief about our market caps. Because we're a new asset. So they're saying, oh, Johnson & Johnson, we make baby bump powder. No one gives a shit, bro. The baby bump powder is great. I don't care about the company. All right? All I can do, it's literally a DAO, friends. It's governance voting. That's what shares are. You don't even get that cash. You don't get access to the cash flow. It goes on a balance sheet, and then it's not easy, man. It's nothing. It's nothing to be excited about. When you only have shares in the world, okay, cool. It was amazing. Now you just don't have them. You got cooler stuff. So I think about them. I go, that sounds like cope. It sounds like you're saying, oh, your 100 billion company is worth more than our network. What? Because our network's on the internet. Remember, friends, we're global. Anyone can access this stuff. You don't need like a license to buy. You don't have to sit through these 15-hour tests, and you know what I mean. In crypto, everyone in the world gets access to it. So we're probably going to see, hopefully, a build-up to get a lot of the stock market guys really, really salty with a lot of coins that just flip them in market cap, you know? And we've been telling them, man, it's a revolution. It really is, you know? So, let me give you an example, friends. The world property real estate is worth about 200 trillion. The world stock market is worth almost the same. It's about probably like 170 trillion or something now. They're around the same. you know? So, you know, you ask two different people, they might give you two answers. They say, hey, would you rather own all the land in the world or the real estate, or would you rather own all the stocks? Some people will say, I'd rather own all the land because I can't live in a stock. They might say that, you know, and the stock market guy says, hey, if I own all the land, the value of everything goes to zero because society's not really free anymore. So I'd rather own all the companies because the companies are separate to the shares. But they're still the same dollars. It's just markets equated them the same way. Are they really the same value? Well, there's the same similar number of capital units allocated to them. Okay. Obviously, stocks are more accessible throughout the world than real estate because you can't buy real estate, for example, in China and Japan and stuff like that easily. Yeah. But crypto is going to blow it as well. You know, crypto should be 200 trillion one day. You know, so that's hopefully what we're all building there towards. So you and I, we're still going to make it. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.